Welcome back, everybody. It's been a long time. Seems like it's been about 3 months, 4 months, but it's only been a month. Um, between snowstorms and ice, knocking out power and sickness, and then pretty much just everyday life getting in between. Um, Had to cancel shows, redo shows. I don't know, but we're finally back. We got a few topics today to talk about. Michigan basketball, how lousy they are. Um, and if Jawan Howard is on the hot seat. And then we're going to talk about kind of do like a ranking system, how we did in our last show, if y'all remember, with the top five quarterbacks from the top five running backs in the Harbaugh era. And we'll end the show with a little bit of Tiger talk today, talk about Detroit Tigers now that spring ball is here. And I think opening day is like the 28th, a little bit early opening day this year. But we'll get into Michigan basketball. I mean, just got knocked out of the Big Ten tourney. Um, what was it? What, Thursday? Yeah, Thursday.
Yep.
Um, that's a team, kind of a team that's been probably one of the hardest, one of my sports teams that I like to ever watch. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know about ever because they were competitive. I've had teams that were just awful that you knew had no chance, and these guys on a lot of levels, the talent was there, right? The coaching supposedly is there. After this year, I think it's fair to say that the jury's still out on Juwan because as you and I have talked about, he did it with Beeline's guys, right? Most of his success. I still think that he's a very good coach, and I don't think that his seat should be getting hot by any measure. But if he has another year next year like he did this year, it's going to be hot for sure. And they may even choose to move on from him. I don't think that would probably be justified unless he just had a disaster. You know, you and I were talking or texting earlier in the week, and you brought up a very good point about his maybe his focus has been too much on Jet than the team itself. And the more I thought about it, the more it makes sense. And he's been around enough and is professional enough that I don't think that was probably a conscious decision. Um, but it's human nature to take care of your own blood first and better, and put their best interest first. And um, I wonder if that's not at least. I'd almost guarantee that's at least partially the case. And the other players obviously that are around it 24/7 and see it, maybe their lack of cohesiveness and effort is because they seen that and just thought, hey, this is the Jet Howard show, not the Michigan show, and why should we put 100% effort in if coach isn't giving us 100%? And that's again, that's purely speculation, but I do think that it's got some validity to it for sure.
Yeah, I was told you I kind of get more in on that. How I feel that way. Um, there is there was times this season where you watched a game and there was like, I'll start here actually. Hang on. There was times this season where Jet Howard looked like a number one overall pick, and not a number. I won't say no. That's a little bit too far. Number one overall pick's a little bit too far. A top 10 lottery pick,
Yep.
and then there was times this year where he didn't look like he would even come close to being drafted. And I think we've seen a little bit too much of that because I honestly, and this probably definitely isn't the case, but I 110% don't think he is even close now to ready to go to the NBA. I think
He's too
he's got,
inconsistent.
yeah. I mean, he's got the talent, and it kind of reminds me of like Caleb Houston in from last season. Um, Someone who we'd seen great spurts out of in games, and then there was just some times where it was like he wasn't there. Jet Howard's defense, absolutely horrible. And where I want to get with this is that, did you watch the game on Thursday?
No.
Okay, so from the time that when you start playing basketball, from the time you're month old, not a month old, I'm sorry, like 5 or 6 in elementary school, and 5 or 6 or earlier, you're taught very simple things that you should remember your whole life.
Right.
And one of those things is to box out the fucking shooter on a goddamn free throw.
It's one of the first things you're taught, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if it wasn't communicated, but this kind of goes in on another team thing, but it's kind of on Jet too. So this is something I've seen. Is that Jet decided I'm just going to go back down the floor again? Doesn't want to play any kind of physical offense, defense, anything like that. And the shooter gets a wide open layup because everyone else is boxing out, and the ball comes right back to him, and it didn't matter. But like I said, you see times where Jet will be hot, cold. But I said this multiple times this season. I think Jet Howard hurt us about the same as he helped us. If not, he hurt us more this season with some of the things he did. And I don't know if it was Jawan telling him to do the things that he did, trying to take over games, things like that. I mean, the kid was just really confusing to me this season, and that's kind of where I was coming with Jawan because at times in games it seemed like Jawan was giving him calls when I honestly don't think he was the best option for a game winner or something like that. Just because he was so inconsistent, and especially towards the end of the year after he got injured, he was pretty much not there.
Right.
I don't think he really did very much at all after he got injured. But I still think I'll get on the Jawan Howard train here and get this stuff out of my way real quick. John Howard is by far definitely on the hot seat this next season. If he does not, if he has a season, if he doesn't make the tournament next year, he in my opinion, should and needs to be gone. And so 3 of the last 4 seasons, Michigan's finished in the bottom half of the Big Ten. We've missed the NCAAs the first time since 2015. I don't even remember who was on that team. I think it was like the early John Teskey days.
Franz Wagner.
Was Franz? Yeah, no. Franz would have came in
No,
16, I
but
think.
maybe Mo then. Maybe Mo's last
No,
year.
not Franz. I'm sorry. No, Mo's last year was 18 because that's when we went to the national championship game. So he might have been a freshman or not
Yep.
there yet. Because didn't Mo leave his junior year after his junior year?
I think so.
So I think Mo came in the following year. Michigan's. This is these are just a few like little stats that are like, hey, this isn't going in a good direction. Michigan has won its opening game of the Big Ten tournament from 2007 to 2021, and we won our first game of at least one game in the Big Ten tournament every year. We've lost 2 years in a row in the first round we played.
Yep.
And I mean that's cool, but again, it's not the way that this program had switched over to doing it. Especially after Beeline. The Beeline, and as we hang on, I'll stay on track here. And then if you look, you just go look at the records since she's been here. I mean, 2020, 19 and 12. This COVID season canceled it. Who knows what we did in the tournament? Oh well. Next year, again, majority of Beeline guys. 23 and 5 Big Ten champs, went to the Elite Eight, lost to UCLA. In a game we probably should have won, but oh well. Last season, 19 and 15. Pretty much the same record except 2 extra wins, which there's your Sweet 16. Went to the Sweet 16, made a nice little run. And this season, you finished 17-15. And more than likely will accept an NIT offer because there's no way in hell that this team gets in the fucking tournament. I think last year at 19-15 and them getting in the tournament was like hey, here, you've been in for a while.
Right.
Here, we're gonna put you in and let you handle and let you get kind of the same way if Michigan State was to have a bad season like that because of the consistency that Michigan State has, they're gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a chance to prove themselves, which is 100% I think how it should be.
And I get that, but I think they end up with 2 more wins than us, right? Maybe even 1. I think if they're in, we should be in. I don't think there's any argument or debate about it. And yeah, they had a couple
They have a lot better wins than we do,
tier
though.
1 wins.
A
Yeah,
lot better
yeah,
wins.
but
Much as I hate to say
I
it.
think that's an overrated stat. And coulda, shoulda, woulda, but we were right there in just about every big game we played and found a way to choke it away. And I'm not saying that we deserve to be in the tournament, but I feel like this team that there's enough there that if we were in the tournament, I wouldn't be shocked if they put together I don't know, maybe a Sweet 16 run. It would not shock me because the talent's there, the coaching's there. We go back to Beeline's kids, right? The first couple of years where he had the most were the most successful for him, but he coached them, right? And that has to say something unless he come in and was still kind of following Beeline's plan under Beeline's game, which I don't really think he was. The coaching talent's there. The guy was in line for NBA jobs, and
But is Michigan too big of a stage for him? In that case,
maybe for his first stop. But what I think the biggest problem is, and it kind of ties back to Beeline a little bit, is that since he's been here, especially, Beeline was catching guys that were under the radar for the most part and develop them, and Juwan with the big splash going after the big names, the 5 stars, the Caleb Houstons, the Jet Howards, the one and done more than we ever have,
and not one of them has panned out.
Not one of them has panned out, to a lot. They've had and this isn't really, I guess, a fair comparison because Imani Bates had other trouble too, but he was from 8th grade. We've heard about this kid, right? And he's really turned out to be a bag full of nothing. And not even talking about his character issues and the stuff that he's been involved in, but I think that's a big part of it because Houston, your Houston and Jet comparison, I think are really good because both come up with a lot of hype. Both really showed flashes to warrant that hype, but then they also, their consistency shined through. And I'd be surprised if Jet doesn't leave too. And we've just put too much weight on these quote unquote superstar high school athletes. And we're kind of, to show my age a little bit, we're putting all our eggs in one basket with these guys. And when it doesn't work, this is what you get. And when it does work, it's high risk, high reward type of deal. When it doesn't work, this is what you got: a bunch of close games and a bunch of, hey, we I think realistically, we could easily have another 8 to 10 wins on our schedule, right? We wouldn't be having this conversation.
I agree. I very much don't, like you said, we didn't really get blown out of games this season by anybody. And I think that's That's a very that's a pretty
We
good
played up
sign.
to our competition and we played down to our competition, and you know, maybe some of those games against the the upper tier of the teams that we played, maybe we're not quite there, but then you play the bottom of the barrel and it's there, and Thursday's game against Rutgers, classic example, right? They're a scrappy team. They're tough defensively, right? Make you work for it. But
Yeah.
I think we were at 8 and they were at a 9, and they beat us by 12, and it really wasn't that close.
No, it wasn't close at all in the second half. I told you I was watching it at work while I was driving a front end loader, and I almost got so mad I almost flipped the freaking loader. So I said, okay, time to turn this basketball game off. On that note, I mean, Michigan made 4 field goals in the second half. 3 of those field goals came with a minute left.
Right.
So they were like 1 for I think like 15, like 1 for 20 until like the last minute. Not winning
Yeah, at one
basketball.
point they went like 8 minutes or something, right, without a field goal. I forget exactly what it was, but it was.
No, double that.
Was it really?
Double that. It was like 16 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Like it was from like the 16-minute mark to about the 1 minute mark. It was about 15 minutes. It was all just free throws we were getting.
Yeah.
Gave up not winning ball. Gave up 10 offensive rebounds, not winning ball. 14 turnovers, 10 of them being steals from your own mistakes, not just dude blocked the ball and got the something
Right.
like that. No, you're making and those steals weren't like, oh, they swipe in our pocket. They're making stupid decisions, trying to force the ball to Hunter Dickinson when everybody in the fucking world, my 8-year-old sister knows it's going to Hunter Dickinson every time. My question is, what play do you have in your pocket, which we hadn't seen all season, that wasn't fucking go to Hunter Dickinson every play?
Right.
What is your backup plan there?
And so that really hurt him, and compared to his
100%
first
hurt Hunter because he looked like he wasn't the
compared to
same
his
player
first
he
2
was
years,
because
he had a mediocre year, right? And that's why I think.
Yeah, because I mean, and I understand he had a very, in my opinion, like you said, compared to his first year, a very bad year that probably hurt his draft stock. At this point, Hunter Dickinson is probably saying, "I wish I would have left last season," and that's
Absolutely.
honestly why I think Hunter Dickinson comes back again next season. At this point, because
And
now he has something presenting. He needs a team around him.
I would be surprised if he didn't come back because he for sure hurt his stock. I don't even know. He's not a lottery pick anymore, and I think he was on the edge at the end of last year.
He wasn't even a first-round pick last year. They were saying that's why he came back. He had too much stuff he needed to work on, like his outside shot, which he got this year. Yeah, he shot like 40% from 3 this season.
Yep.
That was astounding to me. But real quick, we'll go back on the whole Rutgers game. That's just not stuff you can physically do. Is turn the ball over 14 times in a game, give up 10 offensive rebounds, which, God, man, that was one of the, in my opinion, one of the most frustrating things about this team was the offensive rebounding and the fact that the amount of offensive rebounds they gave up, because they gave up. If there was an NCAA record for the most offensive rebounds ever given up, Michigan was probably damn close to it. It was very annoying this season because, and the defense, the lack of defense was just not there. And it's so different watching a Jawan team now compared to a Beeline team back then, because you had the guys who would, Beeline teams played defense. Beeline teams were that old school rough, like, I'm going to get in front of you and take a fucking charge. God, that pisses me off. Let me go pause there. I get mad at this about 18 times. Because I was a charge taker in high school. I wasn't afraid to take a fucking charge. I couldn't tell you the last time I seen a Michigan basketball player take a charge in the paint and just sit there and take one to the fucking chest and go the other way. Look at the John Beeline teams. 3 or 4 times a game. Jordan Morgan, Zach Novak, Stu Douglas. I can go on for hours. Tim
Mitch
Hardaway Jr.,
McGarry
Brett
was even
Robinson,
good about
Mitch
taking them.
McGarry. That team would take 3 or 4 charges a game in the paint, not just like the push off charges, like the really, in my opinion, and should be a charge. I mean, I get it, but uh that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the physical charges, like, oh, you're coming at me. Oh, you don't want to try to step around me. All right, and just post up and just take one. I couldn't tell you last time I seen a Michigan basketball team take one of those. God knows it wasn't this year.
Right. It's a good point.
And that comes down to my opinion. Again, it comes down to the lack of defense on the Michigan basketball team. I mean, I'll kind of get off the high horse here on this, but I hope, very much hope, that Juwan Howard and this team does not play another game of basketball this season.
I don't think they'll accept an NIT.
Juwan came out the other day and said they wanted to continue playing this season.
Yeah, but I think that's just saying the right thing.
My thing with that is, that's, as I texted you the other day, that's not who we are anymore.
No.
That might be like a late, not even late 90s. Early 2000 to like 2000 to when Beeline got here, Michigan thing, going to the NIT, being bad. But I think we talk about this a lot, where Michigan holds themselves to a higher standard. We're always called the arrogant asses. I mean, that's the way I think it should always be. And I think that's something Juwan kind of has to enforce right here. It would be a big step for him to be like, no, y'all don't want to make the NCAA tourneys. We ain't playing in that. Same step that Beeline took in 2015, where he said, no, that's not who we are. We're not playing in a tournament that doesn't mean anything, first off. But on the other hand, it also wouldn't hurt this. I guess it doesn't matter, because there's probably not going to be people who we're in our starting lineup who's not playing next season. I was going to say it would also wouldn't hurt for the team
point, if we had a bunch of freshmen that played significant minutes that we expected back next year, then fine. Let's get them on the floor as much as possible and get them as much playing time as possible. And if you win or make the finals in the NIT, I think that could be maybe a little bit boost into the next season. But I don't think that that's the case for this team. And you've kind of touched on this, but the big thing to me is besides the father son dynamic of Jet and Juwan, is that the lack of fundamentals. We've went from one extreme to the other, where everything that Beeline talked about was fundamental. This foot position, loose balls, charges, all the grunt work, right? Almost very similar to what Tom Izzo did in his glory days, the recipe for success. But Izzo's always been more going after more of the big names, but he mostly did it in state, right? He wasn't so much of a let's go get this 5-star out of California. He was picking the schools up in Michigan, and I think like the talent level has probably dropped in Michigan. It's not what it used to be, but for a lot of years we were, I would say, a top 5 for sure, a top 10 recruiting state. For basketball for a really, really long time. But that's there's a disconnect somewhere, and I think it probably, as we've talked about it, I think it probably goes back to the team chemistry and Jet getting some preferential treatment, and after this weekend, when everything's sorted out, NCAA or NIT or no NIT, I think if we have a bunch of people hit the transfer portal, that'll answer your question for you. As to if this was a coach thing or chemistry thing or whatever. And if
Yeah,
Jet leaves and people stay, that could really say the same thing.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go down another fucking rabbit hole if I say anything else about Jet Howard. So last one, it was definitely a rabbit hole. Um, he kind of like okay, fuck it. He kind of has that coach's kid mentality though. I will 100% say he does, and I can't fucking stand that shit. I never fucking have been able to because at least in my opinion, when you were my coach growing up, you never treated me, oh, you're the fucking coach's kid. You were I wasn't even allowed to call you dad at practice.
Right.
It was coach. And if I said dad, it was a fucking suicide or something like that.
Right. Right.
Um, but
Yeah, you got it harder than everybody else, not easier. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think that's what he said. And I could be completely wrong on that. But he has that coach's kid mentality to me, and I just fucking can't stand that shit. Coach's kid or the whole my family has money in this community. That's gonna go down a different road, but
Yeah,
not a
and
road
see,
that I
I
need.
I haven't picked up on that, but another thing that's, and this is going deeper down the rabbit hole, is that Janine, Jet's mom, Juwan's wife,
Yeah.
is very has a very heavy social media presence, and she's at the games and very involved, and so when you have someone that's really involved like that, and it's just really easy for your wife to have a lot bigger voice in what's going on than what she should. When it's her baby who's you know coming into the season a one and done lottery pick, blah 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 blah. And so you go home, you're at school, you're at practice, and you're sorting shit out, right? And then you come home, and you got your wife chiming in your ear too. Um, and again, this is all speculation, but there's I think there's a lot more to it. It's not black and white where it's either this or it's either that. It's like an onion, right? There's a lot of layers there, and we'll probably never know truly what the thing what happened. But as the off season and next season plays out, I think there'll be clues, and we'll be able to maybe take those clues and slap a couple extra pieces in the puzzle and reach our own conclusions.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm writing something down real quick. Yeah. It's a rough season for the boys. Like we talked. I mean, like I said, I pray to God that they don't play again. Not pray to God, but I hope they don't play again because I don't think. One, I'll say that I'm not going to watch if they play in the NIT, but more than likely I'll watch, and I'm just going to get mad, and I don't need that mental health problem right now. um,
Right.
I don't need the stress, but I guess we'll see. I mean, like you said before we started the show, I mean, I've seen a lot of people still think they're going to get into the tournament, and if that team gets into the
Yeah,
tournament,
there's a lot of people that do it. I don't think they belong, but I guess I wouldn't be shocked if they got in either.
I don't know. I like you said though, I agree that this team could possibly when they're good, when they're hot, but God, when they aren't, it's not good basketball at all. I mean, they can look, they run up score with the best of them, but all right, that's I think that's all. We can just talk 30 minutes of Michigan basketball and about how bad they are, and move on to the next topic here. This is a little bit of a fun one, so we can kind of debate here if we don't have the same like we usually do. Let's talk about. We'll go ahead and do like a listing here, like a tier listing the top 5 running backs in the Harbaugh era. I mean, we'll start at number 5 and then make our way down to number 1. I mean, there's been some really good backs, honestly, in this era. I mean, at number 5, I'm gonna throw it down and give it Davion Smith. Back in like Harbaugh's first few years here, Davion Smith was one of those backs. Just your typical Harbaugh back. I mean, a bigger dude, always fell forward usually. I mean, that's who I got there is Davion Smith at number 5.
I'm going to go with True Wilson at number 5. Walk on. Tough runner. Earned his keep. Got a scholarship.
Quit on the team.
Just all around solid back. Wasn't a superstar
Quit
for
on the
us, right?
team.
But super dependable.
Quit on the team.
He did not.
He transferred. He quit on the team.
No, he went somewhere where he could play a little bit more. Hats off to him for that.
Okay, so did Cade McNamara, but you said he quit.
Cade McNamara took shots on his way out. And True Wilson wasn't a captain.
That's fine, but he still quit on the team.
You're just mad because you already figured out why I said what I said.
I know for a fucking fact. No, that's not why. I already knew where that was going, and you're fucking insane for putting him there. We'll get into arguing about that in a minute.
I could put Chris Evans there instead.
Oh, I forgot about him. No, I was just fucking around with you about the whole he quit. I forgot about Chris Evans.
Yep.
I forgot. He's having a pretty good NFL career, honestly, with the Bengals.
They're both better than your number 4 coming up.
Oh, okay. You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4, I got Donovan Edwards at number 4.
Donovan Edwards, out of your mind,
motherfucker. I get it. This isn't what we think they're gonna do. This is what they've done so far.
Right.
Do I 100% think that Donovan Edwards is probably gonna be better? Donovan Edwards might be better than every single one of the people in front of who I have here.
Well, he's for sure better than your number 3.
How do you know that he's at number 3? He might be at number 1.
If he is, I'm never doing this podcast again.
Who you got at number 4?
Probably.
You know he's a good running back. Just fucking say Karan Higdon. You know he was a good running back.
Davion Smith.
You just don't want to fucking say it because you know it pisses me off because you know he was a good running back. God damn it. You fucking finally got me to fucking break on it.
Bum. He shouldn't even been allowed to be a water boy.
Dead. He was the only fucking running back in the Harbaugh era until Corum Haskins fucking to go over 1,000 yards. Stop. He was a good fucking running back.
Because he got 3,000 fucking. He averaged like 1.2 yards a carry for his career.
Oh, maybe.
Because he got 1 million carries.
No, he didn't. Well, since we're here, wait, who'd you say number 4 was? Davion Smith?
Yeah. Who you got at number 3?
Yeah, I got fucking Karan Higdon at number 3.
Fucking joke.
No, I'm not, because listen.
Donovan Edwards, number 3.
Hang on. No. Hang on.
Who you got at number 2?
Hang on. We'll keep. Hang on. Okay, stop showing me his fucking NFL stats, please.
You're right. 0, 0, 0, 2 yards on a garbage carry.
Okay, Mike Hart was a goddamn shit running back in the NFL.
Mike Hart was hurt. Fucking his hamstrings gave out.
Thank you, baby. 5.6 yards a carry.
In the NFL
No, in college.
for his career?
Yes, for his career, he had 2,661 yards or
How many
16
carries do you
yards,
have?
471.
Right. That's not even a season's worth of carries.
What do you mean that's not a season? Now you're changing your whole fucking saying on why he was a bad running back. You just said he got too many carries. Now he doesn't have enough carries?
No. What I'm saying is he didn't do it over a sustained period of time. Did he have a couple good games? Sure. That's what brought
2016,
his average up.
2016, 2016, he averaged 5.9 yards a carry on 72 attempts for 425 yards.
Right.
And
Couldn't even break
2017,
500 yards in the season.
he wasn't a fucking starter.
I could go break 500 yards right now at 51 years old with bad hip, bad knees, everything.
Yeah, okay. He wasn't a starter that season. Thank you. It was Davion Smith's senior year. It was the next year, 2017. Rushed for 164 attempts, 994 yards, averaging 6.1 yards a carry and 11 touchdowns. Yep, there's another 6.1 yarder. And then you go to his senior year season, 224 attempts, 1,178 yards on 5.3 yards carry. So, well, guess what? Yeah, I'm going to show you why he's this good is because Blake Corum's stats are about the fucking same as his are. So,
If you were right here now, I would shoot you in the head for comparing him to Blake fucking Corum. He's not a fucking drop of sweat on Corum's nuts.
he's very close. Corum only had 77 yards his freshman year, 2020. And then the Valley season, he had 952 yards his junior year.
As a second back, as a number two back.
In an offense that's way different than it was if Corum was here.
Then Corum was here.
Not Corum, when Higdon was here. I just wish you would just fucking admit it. Jesus Christ. You know he's fucking a good running back. And I know that you know this, but you do it to piss me off, and it fucking infuriates me. Because that little fucking smirk, because you know he's a fucking top 3.
He's not top 3. I don't think he's top 10 in Harbaugh's era. Did he have some couple games? Yeah, a couple good games? Yes.
He rushed over 100 yards 8 times in a season.
When that's all we were doing. Who was his quarterback? O'Korn?
In 2017, it was that season when it was like O'Korn, right. Peters,
Spieth.
All them. Well, and then in 18, it was who was our quarterback in 18? It wouldn't have been Spieth. Spieth transferred out, and because we didn't have Spieth in 7. Spieth got hurt in 17.
Right.
That was when he got hurt and was like done for the season, and that's when like O'Korn and all them played.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't have.
Who was our quarterback? Who was our quarterback in 18?
He was running.
Who was our quarterback in 18? Do you remember?
I can't think.
Oh, that was never mind. That was Shea. That was when Shea came in. It was in 18.
Yeah,
Shea came in 18 and 19.
Shea, Mr. I'd rather golf and chase tail than go to practice. So they had to run the ball.
I don't know. We'll let this lie till next time.
The guy's not as bad as I make him out to be, but I'm closer to the truth than you are with making him out as how good you think he is.
We'll agree to disagree. All right, number 2. Probably gonna surprise you here. I got Blake Corum at number 2.
So,
as of right now, I 100%. I 100% agree. Probably at this time next year, that will 100% be the other way around. But as of right now, I have Blake Corum as number 2.
So
explain why when I get to my number 1.
And
which is obviously
where you're going. I've been having this argument in my head because Hassan did it right, and I think if Blake doesn't get hurt in the Illinois game and finishes the season, I think there's probably not a debate because I agree. He likely wins the Heisman. But based on what's
100%.
done to this date, I agree with you. Blake's number 2 and Hassan's number 1.
Yeah, I think, and I think I don't know. It might just be a. There might
But
be a little bit of like of a legacy also with Hassan that kind of makes me
yeah,
lean that way a little bit. He kind of gets the benefit of the doubt from me a little bit because of the legacy that Hassan Haskin brought to Michigan with being that team, being on that team that beat Ohio State, having the leap over the Ohio State defender.
yeah. So,
I
same deal with
mean,
Cade before he run his track. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
I mean it's probably just a little bit there too that kind of just puts him in front. Um, but I mean, it's definitely they're probably honest. They're neck and neck. Honestly, it'd be like a photo finish in a NASCAR race. Um, at how the 1 and 2 could go there. I think a little bit. I like a little bit of Hassan Haskin because one of Hassan was one of those. I'm gonna. Oh, you want to run? I'm gonna run at you. I'm not. That's
Yeah.
probably another reason why. Um, but
I
yeah,
will
there's
say that I think that even at this point that Blake's probably a little bit more complete all the way around, but
well, Blake was a
Hassan did
running
it for
back coming out
four
of high
years,
school.
right?
Well, Blake
Um,
was a run. No, Hassan did it for what 2.5, 3? Because remember, Hassan wasn't a running back. He was a
right,
linebacker when he got to Michigan,
right.
and he's one of the fucking goddamn hardball fucking magic tricks that. Oh, here, let me switch you to this position, and you're gonna be a fucking superstar, aka Mike, like Mike Sainer still at cornerback.
Yep,
And now they're
yep.
talking about changing to Maureen Walker to back about
Yeah,
possibly going.
he's switched. It sounds like
I don't know. I haven't again, as we talked about last season, you haven't really heard much about spring ball this year,
no.
um, like at all. Even like I was listening to one of the M Go Blue podcasts with like John Jansen and stuff,
Yep,
and it it was very bland on what they were talking about. There was nothing that they like talked like they kept everything pretty bland. I'll just say that. Um, it was just a normal talk, like, oh yeah, spring. Like they talked to Cornelius Johnson too. Oh, spring practice is going good. Just like the bland like responses to like how practice and stuff is going and how people are playing. And but we've seen that last year also, where you didn't hear anything really
right.
um, at all.
No, Fort Harbaugh's back a little bit, right? And I think that's a good thing. That means that he's confident enough in his team that he doesn't feel the need to pump them up through the media. It's shut up and go to work and let's lay it all out there. I think that's a good sign for us and a bad sign for the rest of the Big Ten. And of course that doesn't include anything crazy happening, injuries, off the field incidents that affects players playing time, or um, something happens and somebody decides that they want out because the downside of the transfer portal is that a guy could go have a bad day at practice today and get his ass reamed and not like it and say fuck you, I'm going somewhere else. So
Mhm.
um, you know that's the side of the portal that I don't like. I think there should be a couple periods a year, maybe two,
Oh
um,
yeah,
windows,
League.
a couple week windows. That way, people have some time to think about, is this really what I want to do? Let the emotions, take the emotions out of it. If you're homesick or whatever, fine, go, right. But if you're, it used to be even in different levels, right. But even when you were in sports, if you didn't like your playing time, work harder, right? And maybe take the coaching a little bit better, and you either ask your coach or watch film and figure out, hey, what can I do better? And now these guys, it's kind of trickling up to the NBA too, with these superstars saying, oh, I don't want to be here no more. Give me wrong. I think Kevin Durant is a hell of a player, maybe a top 10, 15 player all time, but I think that's diminished because when shit doesn't go his way, he wants to pick up his toys and go somewhere else and play, and then I like that players have when players have a large social media presence, but he's a crybaby, and then he's out there having fake accounts trying to defend himself, and that just he just comes off as a pussy to me. And I've said it for a lot of years. Um, the pussification of America is a big part of all of our problems in general. Um, I could rant about this for days, so I'll just shut
I
up.
know. I can too, and that's why I'm not feeding into the fire here, not
Right.
pouring gasoline on the fire. Yeah. Everything I want to say is just gonna pour flames onto or gas onto the fire. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that. All right. This is kind of like a depressing show, I guess, to now that I think about it, because now we're gonna move on to Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, and Tiger Talk, guys. It's back. Spring training's here. Um, we're like, think less than 20 days, something like that. I don't honestly know because I don't know the actual date away from opening day. Team's been sad after about 10, 15 years of very good for Detroit Tigers. And I mean, it's kind of been like the whole city of Detroit sport teams in the past 10, 15 years. Um, they've been bad. I mean, new everything other than the coach is still the same. With new front office, with new GM, hasn't really did too much in the off season, like signing
Not
wise.
not so much player wise, right? But he's gutted the organization. From our triple and double A coaches gone, right, to um, the head of scouting. He's brought in some really big names. I don't know the names of the guys. I can't think of them right now, but I want to say the head of scouting was left an assistant GM position to come be our scout. What he's done is basically deconstruct everything and is building it from the ground up. There's a last year we were just riddled with injuries, right? And we've had, I feel like we've had a lot of injuries. They've revamped their outlook on training. Um, I just see a lot of good moves, and does that translate into wins next year? Maybe not, but I don't think they lose 100 games, let alone 120. I think they hang somewhere around 500, probably below it. Um, no playoff, no wild card or anything, but I really like the things that he's done, but he's not made any big splashes. And the one thing that he's done that, from a baseball perspective, I don't agree with, but I don't think that he does, but I agree with it would be a public relations nightmare if he was to get rid of Miggy. And I think that they could probably be more competitive this year if they did. I think it's the right baseball move to do is to get rid of him. Just say sorry, thank you for all your time, good luck. But he would lose the fan base immediately. And from a human perspective, it's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think we're on different. We're on.
Miggy
Oh
is
shit!
a big part of what's that?
No, I didn't realize I went to go talk, but you kind of froze up because it sounded like you stopped talking. But so yeah, go ahead, keep
Gotcha.
going.
Miggy's a big reason. One of the biggest reasons why we've had the success that we've had over the last decade or so. But then you go back to, it's still kills me that at one time we had Price, Scherzer, Verlander, and
So we had Price, Scherzer, Verlander, Fister, and Rick Porcello in our starting lineup. All five have either had or have Cy Youngs now at this point.
right. Just imagine if we could have kept those guys
When we got
together.
swept by the Giants. And, here. Don't even want to talk about our lineup that season. Our lineup, our 3 through 5 hitters was Prince Fielder, Miguel Cabrera, and Victor Martinez.
Right. Prince Fielder couldn't keep his dick in his pants. That's why he was gone.
Well, Prince Fielder also just, I don't know. That makes me depressed. I don't know. I would have put thousands of dollars on that fucking us winning the World Series that year, and we didn't fucking win a goddamn game.
Right.
Ugh, why can't my sports team win fucking national championships and fucking world championships? God damn it. Every fucking time, man.
So I'm gonna get off topic a little bit here, real quick, right?
Sensitive subject, yeah.
But okay, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Tigers. Who's the next one to win one?
Red Wings. 100% Red Wings.
Lions.
No fucking way. You guys don't even want Lamar Jackson.
Why would we want Lamar Jackson?
Because Jared Goff is absolute trash can compared to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson.
Jared Goff.
If Lamar Jackson comes to Detroit, it might change my mind. If Jared Goff stays there, no. There's people in the Detroit I see on Twitter all the time. They want Matthew Stafford's old ass back. Fuck no, y'all are dumb for that.
That's dumb too. I can't believe that the Rams are shopping him already, but he's beat up. He's at the end of the line, right? So I wouldn't be mad if the Lions. Listen, I wouldn't be mad if the Lions brought in Lamar Jackson, but in the big picture, I don't think that he is that much better of a overall quarterback than Jared Goff. Is he more athletic? Yeah. Does he got more potential? Absolutely. But Jared Goff is probably not probably for sure a top 12 to 15 quarterback in the NFL. Lamar Jackson is top 5 to 8 probably. But the last couple of years he hasn't been able to stay on the field, and mobile quarterbacks don't last in this league, right? They just don't. So for stability and continuity, I think that's why Jared Goff sticks around. I think the Lions probably grab somebody that drops this year, and a la Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, lets Goff groom them for a little couple years and see what happens. But
that's somebody that wouldn't be bad for the Lions, in my opinion. He'd go get, even though he is ready to be a starter, though, would be Jordan Love.
Yes.
Because, well, I don't know, because God knows what the fuck's going on out in San Francisco with their quarterback situation. Because
right,
they got
get a guy out of there too.
Well, no, that's. Oh yeah, Jordan Love. Yeah, never mind. Jordan Love's out of Green Bay. Never mind. I'm thinking of. I get Jordan Love and what's the San Francisco's quarterback?
Brock Purdy.
No, the one that started the season. No, the one that started the season. Young kid, just like a. I get him and Love mixed up because they look alike. They're kind of alike. I'll look it up real quick. That's the dude. I'm talking about the dude that comes out of there. I would not go after Jimmy G. Jimmy G is an injury prone.
Yeah, me neither. And the other thing, the other strike against Lamar Jackson, right, is he's wanting $250 million, and teams are thinking he's worth about half of that. But even at half of that, that takes up a lot of cap space for the Lions to do other things. So, like I said, I wouldn't be mad if they brought him in, but I just don't think that's the right fit. If we were just a quarterback away from Super Bowl contention, then fine. But
y'all better go after one of the Niners.
Our offense is pretty good. We need to worry about the defense. But
Yeah, going back to
somehow
your other.
we got from the Tigers to that because I brought up the the
Yeah, I know.
championship
Not a big
wings.
deal.
And
That
before you went live on this, I had in the back of my mind because I love to irritate you about trash can Karan Higdon, right? But
God damn it! Don't even do it right now, Dad. I can't handle fucking going off again. I swear
what
to
am I gonna
fucking
say?
God, if you go, just talk.
So I'm not a hockey guy, right?
Okay, thank God. Not where I thought you were going with this.
Where'd you think I was going?
Chauncey Billups.
Oh no. Fuck that
Okay.
scrub too.
Yeah.
Uh
Motherfucker.
Allen Iverson, 10 times a better player than Chauncey ever dreamed of, even
Just
as he
fucking
was
stop. Just
here in his
fucking stop.
garbage years. AI was here in his garbage years, right? And he was still 10 times the guy Chauncey ever was, ever. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Just agree, though, that Allen Iverson, 10 times the player.
I muted your ass, motherfucker.
So, but, so, I pay attention to what the Red Wings are doing. I watch a little bit here and there. I probably haven't watched a game beginning to end in a few years. As they're better, back in the day when they had their decades long run of being competitive in playoffs and in contention for the Stanley
25
Cup,
seasons.
I watched them all. And when they're in the playoffs, I don't miss a game. But I don't get why Stevie Y sent Bird away
So I
when
mean,
they're still knocking on the door, right? He just cut the losses.
I think so. This is where my view on that is because I watch it. I watch the Red Wings quite a bit now. Especially now that pretty much all other sports are done. Usually after football season is when I start like really getting into hockey. So I mean, this is my take on it: is that Bert was going to want money, Larkin wanted money,
Yeah.
and you were kind of in that situation where you're going to have to pick or choose. Where is the fucking standings at? Thank you. Um, Pick and choose on who you wanted to win, like who you wanted to keep at that point. I mean, yeah, they're still in contention, really. Yeah, no, not really. Kind of. They got a long road ahead of them now because they've fucking fucked themselves after getting in the wild card spot and then losing like seven straight. Um, they are now what's that 7 points behind the Penguins now with a little over a month left in the season. They're
Yeah.
gonna have to go on a tear. Uh, but going back to
Well,
the Bertuzzi. Okay, keep
you
going.
know, if nothing else, to me, Stevie Y making those trades is saying, "Hey, we're waving the white flag, and maybe we still get it in the playoffs, but we're not serious contenders, which is fine."
And that was and that
I trust him. He's a legend here. He did his GM thing in Tampa Bay, and I really feel like he'll do it here. But it just kind of caught me off guard. I guess is the best way to put it. But he's obviously got a vision, and I'm sure he had in his mind if we're at this point, we're gonna hold fast, and if we're not, we're gonna shake some things up, and I forget what they if I remember right, they got a pretty good haul for Bert.
they
So
got like 3 or 4 picks. And
yeah,
I mean, in the NHL, I mean, once you get past the second round, it's usually everybody there's a good talent. It is NHL. It's kind of like the MLB where you don't really know what you're getting. I mean, someone come out of
right. After
it's
the
not
first
like
20 picks or so, it's just
yeah,
yeah,
you can go anyway. Um, Going back on the Bertuzzi trade real quick. I really I liked Bertuzzi. I did, but just something the past 2 or 3 seasons he's just been super injury prone. Also,
He has.
and he
Yep.
hasn't played. He hasn't really played a lot. And I'm not saying like just because I like Bertuzzi, but good player. But I think we have enough talent coming, not coming up because they're already on the Red Wings. Like there's enough talent that are already up that can fill his spot and hopefully stay healthy. That's one thing I noticed. The people who we got rid of in this like before the trade deadline, Bertuzzi, Verana, Sundqvist, those were all players that were very injury prone.
Yep.
Very injury prone. So Verana didn't play. Verana's only played, I think, just a guess, 10 to 15 games this season because he was out for so long. Because and I good for the dude because the dude went out uh with like mental health to deal with his mental health. Like cool dude, like
Right.
do what you gotta do. That's 100% okay. Your mental health is 100% way more important than a game. Because when it comes down to it, it is. That's all this is a game. Uh but it's gonna hurt you when it comes to that kind of stuff because you are getting paid to play, and
Absolutely.
I mean, so that's probably why that's reason I see that. And a lot of people bitched about Bertuzzi, but I noticed he was hurt a lot. Why keep somebody who's hurt? Yeah, it might be a good player when you can use that money to either pay somebody more, like Dylan Larkin when he got just got his contract extension,
Yep.
or two, go get somebody who can stay healthy, who stays healthy. And I get it. Hockey's a fucking rough ass sport. Hockey's one of the most injury. I mean, I don't think you play a hockey game without getting injured.
Right.
I mean, hockey players are pretty tough fucking dudes. Um, but I don't think that there's any chance that if you're missing time
And,
and time
and
and
you know,
time that you're gonna keep, they're gonna
something to
keep you
me
on the team.
that shows just how tough that hockey can be is that for the most part these guys are fairly little guys, right? Um, Especially compared to the rest of the sports world.
Yeah,
You don't
compared to a sports world, yeah.
you don't see many like Eric Lindstrom comes to mind. I don't know if you remember him or not, but you don't see many 6'4", 6'5", 260 guys out there on skates. There's a couple
Oh,
here and there you
fucking
see.
Chara for the Boston Bruins, fucking 6'8", his ass, fucking.
So, but my point in that is you get these 6'7", 300 pound guys in the NFL, right? That are crushing into guys that are 6'7", 300 pounds. It makes sense that they get hurt, but and certainly the speed of the collisions on in ice hockey is more than any other sport because these guys are flying on skates. But you got 5'10", 180 pound guys going into each other at whatever miles an hour versus the clash. It to me that just insinuates the how physical that sport is. But these guys with big bodies, your bodies aren't built to handle all that. Where the little guys, I think it's a little more. They're built more a little bit more for it. So it just shows how tough they really are.
Yeah. But yes, I going back on the whole question that got us from the the Tigers to the Lions, back to the Tigers, then to the Red Wings.
Yeah,
I think the Red Wings are in the best spot to win a championship before anybody. And I think I do wholeheartedly. I think Detroit, maybe then the Pistons. I don't know about the Pistons because the Pistons are. I don't know. That's that's a team I've kind of just I like still, but when you're winning 12 games in an 82 game season, it's kind of hard to watch you.
yeah, and then
um,
Cade
and
getting
it's
hurt
hard.
didn't help, right? That set us back. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, Jaden Ivey, I think averaging 26-6 or 26-3 or something like that a
yep.
game. And I think when Cade got hurt, he was averaging like 23-6 or something like that. So I mean, we got the talent's there. It's just, this is so fucking Detroit and so Michigan. Like being a fan of any team that I like, to have somebody to draft someone like Cade and then just have the fucking luck of him just being an injury prone player, which I'm
Right.
so fucking worried about. And I hope it's not true because the past 2 seasons he's went out with injuries.
Right.
And you just fucking pray and hope that this isn't like,
Yeah.
oh well, we
Right
just
now
fucked
he's
up.
Grant
We
fucking
got
Hill, right?
we got
To
we got
me,
our number one pick all over again, and we fucked it up again. Or we fucked up a top 3 pick. And I'm not saying they didn't fuck it up because obviously I think anybody would have
yeah.
took
I
him.
mean, you can't determine health. He didn't have a big history of injuries in the college that I can remember. But again,
It's not on the same fucking page as Darko Milicic, but goddamn, dude, fucking Pistons
and
fucked
that
up
was
top
just
picks.
a
It doesn't go.
combination of
It just doesn't go our way with top picks.
shitty luck because there was something maybe 10 years ago, and every GM at the time said that they would have made the pick that Joe Dumars did. On paper he made the right pick, right? But this kid was just, at that time, European ball was still a lot softer than the United States, and this kid got a pocket full of money, never had to work hard to be as good as he was, and just thought that that's the way it was going to be. He's out getting hookers and buying sports cars and showing up to practice drunk and played himself out of the NBA.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm not sure that Dwayne Casey is the answer either. And I don't like Tom Gores as an owner either, but that may or may not have anything to do with it. But Dwayne Casey's a great coach, right? Took the
I
Raptors.
think that's why I don't think it's in like that's what I was about to ask. I think he's kind of in the same boat as AJ Hinch. A lot of people want AJ Hinch gone.
Yeah, I don't.
And I was like, and I would 100%. There's not one goddamn coach in the MLB that could do a better job than what AJ Hinch can do. Because I agree, AJ Hinch wholeheartedly is the only coach that could help turn this team around because
Yeah,
how bad the Tigers actually were. But I feel that Dwayne Casey was the same way. When Dwayne Casey got hired and got released by Toronto, I remember saying the Pistons need to go get fucking Dwayne Casey. And we've made the playoffs under him, right? His
I
first or
think his
second
first
season.
year.
Yeah, because we got
This is
fucking.
year 4 for him, right?
Oh no, he's been there 5 or 6 years. He's
Has
been.
he?
It was like his first. It was my first or second year down here in Mississippi when we went to the playoffs because I watched it down here. Uh, we got swept by the Bucks, but
2018. Yeah.
that's when he got there. That's when we were in the playoffs.
That's his first year as coach.
Yeah, this sounds about right when we made the playoffs too. Last time the Red Wings. What the hell? Okay, well, everything I'm finding it says, did the Pistons? When was the last time Pistons made the playoffs? And then it pops up to all the championships, And I'm like, well, that doesn't help. Um,
so it's funny here, right? I just hit to see where he did it, see when he started coaching, and it pulled up the Pistons Wikipedia page, right? And it's got everything on here: coaches, players, records. But the thing that grabbed my attention is I can't even do it with a straight face.
God damn it, Father!
Is Detroit Pistons Hall of Famers. Andy Phillip, Bob Hubriggs, Dave Bing, Bob Lanier, Dick McGuire, George Yarley, Bob McAdoo, Joe Dumars, Dennis Robin, Allen Iverson, Grant Hill, and Ben Wallace. Where's Chauncey Billups on that list? Where's he at?
You've been muted again.
Where's he at? That was a sign from God. I just happened to click on that.
No. Then
Just to prove
just
my
saying,
point.
Chauncey's number is in the rafters. Allen Iverson's is not. The only reason Allen Iverson is in the Pistons Hall of Fame is because Allen Iverson's Allen Iverson. He played for the Pistons. That's the only goddamn reason he's in the Pistons Hall of Fame, and you know that for a fact.
Well, it's not even it's Hall of Fame, period. Not Pistons Hall of Fame.
Oh, I thought you said Pistons Hall of Fame. I was like,
so Dave, Walt Bellamy, Buddy Jeanette, Bailey Howell. How many guys have you heard of there? Hall of Famers. Isaiah Thomas, Adrian Dantley.
I never once said Chauncey Billups was a fucking Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer and the fucking NBA is way different than Hall of Famer in like NFL or something like that.
Okay, so one's in the Hall of Fame and one's not, but the one in the Hall of Fame is better than the guy that's not in the Hall of Fame? Is that what you're saying?
In his time in Detroit, yes.
Oh, my God. The guy couldn't even break the starting lineup in Denver before he was brought here. He was traded here as an afterthought.
And then absolutely killed
it. Career here? Yeah. Did he make clutch shots? Yeah. Did he do anything else? No.
You got about 5 seconds. You got about 5 seconds. Say Chauncey's good, or you're getting muted again.
Chauncey 1, bum 2, Bill.
Does it tell you when I mute you? When I mute you?
Huh?
Does it tell you when I mute you?
Yeah.
No. Fuck. I wish it didn't.
Says the host muted you because he's a bitch.
Fuck you. That'd be even fucking better if it didn't tell you. No.
You ever heard of Chuck Cooper? Hall of Fame. Oh, Chris Webber, Hall of Fame. Tracy McGrady, Hall of Fame.
Okay, and
there's no Chauncey Billups on there anywhere.
Okay, we're moving on. We're gonna start closing this show out for the day. This is not what I meant to click on. One more topic I just thought of, and it's fucking hilarious, and I really wanted to say something about it. Not really. We can make it quick because it has been a little bit. Did you see this whole Tiger Woods shit with his girlfriend?
Yeah,
taking his girlfriend to the air. So he took his girlfriend to the airport. Told her, hey, we're going on vacation. Got to the airport and said, hey, here's your ticket. We're breaking up, and sent her on her way.
See, that I didn't know.
That is fucking legendary, and it's fucking hilarious. Like,
So that's awesome. So I seen something earlier in the week that she was suing him, right? Because she's trying to get out of this non-disclosure agreement that he made her sign before she moved in. Which, when you got that kind of money, you have to do it to protect yourself. You just have to. So I can't remember really any of the specifics, but I read something yesterday where it got there's a little bit of the juice, but it said basically some of her complaints. I didn't get that part, but that he basically said, "Hey, we're done. Here's a house for you to stay in for whatever it was, 90 days,
gave her money,
maybe, and here's some money to get you by. But after that, you're on your own." Which it was above and beyond what the NDA called for, and she was. Before this is a theme with Tiger. He seems to like restaurant managers, right? Because that's what ended his marriage with the Swedish girl. But this girl, before she became his girlfriend, was the manager of his restaurant. Mm-hmm. That's how they met. So she went from your normal, everyday, middle class working life to something that people can always dream. And now she wants half his house and half his money. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You got to live this way for 5 or 6 years, whatever it was. It's hilarious that he dropped her off at the airport.
Yeah, he tricked her into thinking he was taking her on a vacation, but instead dropped her off at the airport and locked her out of the house.
Kind of a dick move, right? But it's also kind of funny.
Oh yeah, and the chick is obviously fucking crazy. Well, Tiger Woods is a crazy motherfucker too,
He
but
is. He is.
the fact that she's suing him for $30 fucking million for
Right.
that, for as compensation as a breakup, no, bitch. I want fucking
Right.
goddamn 100 million for my fucking breakups I've had in my life.
Right.
Fuck that shit.
And you know the thing.
This tweet saying real quick. This tweet says, now imagine if they were married. If they were married and he had divorced her, how much money she would have tried to go get. Let alone they were just dating and that's the compensation she wants.
Right.
Bitch,
Yeah.
shut up.
So you know, part of her claims is I lived in this whatever it is, 20,000 square foot house and had cars and this and that, and you know his lawyer's argument is that he never said that she could live there. It wasn't her residence. He had just allowed her to stay there at her leisure, which is bullshit too. But again, you know when you have that kind of money, you have a legal team
Well,
that's as big as any Fortune 500 company out there. They get paid a lot of money and they know what they're doing. I just can't believe that this lady has any leg to stand on, and her attorney's got to know that. But they
other
figure,
than the fact, I just think about this is that isn't. I don't know how. I don't know actually. I don't know if this happened in California where the fuck this happened at, but
believe it
uh,
was Florida.
okay. Um, I know down here and I know in Michigan, there's the whole fucking 30-day dwelling shit. Where if you live somewhere for 30 days, you technically live there. Like they can't kick you out.
So
Without
Michigan,
going through the whole court process and things like that of eviction and
Michigan is actually 24 hours now. If I let you come to stay the night at my house, if you're an invited guest to stay at my house, you
okay.
can consider that established residency, and somebody could make your life hell. Say you had a
Say
one
because
nighter,
down
right? Some chick stays the night at your house, and she decides she wasn't going to leave. That could turn into something that it need not be.
yeah, don't all you fucking crazy bitches out there don't fucking use this as an excuse, but to go do that
Right.
to somebody and ruin their fucking life. I hope my wife doesn't watch this episode. Um, um she might Tiger Woods my ass.
Right. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
because
have to dig
down
into
here it's
that a little
30.
bit more
Yeah,
because
I know
that's kind of
down here it's
nuts.
30 days. Yeah, that's like, but yeah, I read that shit at work the other day and I fucking lost it. And I was like, yeah, I at least got to mention something about that because it's fucking funny as hell. But yeah,
And you know, so I think their move is to her lawyer's move is to let's get this out. We know we can't win this, right? But let's get it out in the public eye, in mainstream media, and put some pressure on him because now he's going to offer to settle us because the Tigers had a lot of
bad
crazy shit
publicity.
happen, go really public, right? And the last thing he needs is another black eye in the media. And so I feel like this is just them pressuring them to, okay, we asked for 30, but if you give us 10, we'll shut up and go away.
Yeah.
And you know, in the big picture, 10 million is not anything to Tiger Woods. So if I was
Well, I
him, I
can't.
probably would have done it right off the bat. Here's 10, take it or leave it. You're not going to win. You know you're not going to win. I know I'm not going to win. Shut up. Goodbye.
Well, in a way, I mean, in a way, he kind of did do that by giving her a fucking house to stay in and fucking giving her money to stay in. In
Right.
a way, he kind of did because God knows how much money how much money he actually gave her at that point. I mean, we'll probably find out in the meantime. But old Tiger Woods, man,
Can't get out of his own
they go
way.
by. Nope. All right, guys. So one more thing before we go, we're gonna be doing like a tall and taller tourney challenge this year, bracket challenge. Um, I'll get it going probably tomorrow, if not tonight, depending on how I feel today. Um, after uploading everything to like YouTube and Spotify and all that. Um, but if not, it'll be done tomorrow. Hopefully by the time, because I think the brackets don't come out until like 6 tomorrow now. It
Yeah.
used to be like 3 or 4, but I think it's like now they release them at 3, at like 6 tomorrow, 6 Eastern time at least. So I'll have something. I'll have it set up at least by tomorrow night. By the time the brackets show come out, that way as soon as the brackets y'all want to get in, make sure you just join in. I'm posting on Facebook, Twitter, all that, and just make sure to share it with your friends after y'all like it. Share a page with them too, guys. Like us, do whatever. Check us out on social media, all our social media websites. And other than that, I think that's all I got today.
Yeah, $100 million top prize on Tall and Taller's Tourney Pick'em. You got to get them all right to win that $100 million. And if you pick Michigan as the winner of the tournament and they win, we'll times that by 10. So $1 billion top prize. If
Okay,
you get
Dad.
100%
No.
of every pick correct and Michigan wins the national championship, you could win $1 billion.
Yeah, my luck, then we're gonna get fucking sued because watch Michigan get in, all that shit happen, and somehow that happens. Disclaimer: that's not what the fuck we're doing. Unless somebody has fucking, I can just see that being our fucking luck, man.
Right.
You were to say something like that, and fucking Jesus Christ, fucking
It's a
first
joke,
time ever.
guys.
Something.
In case you didn't pick up on the sarcasm, it's a joke. But we do need to come up with something that
yeah, I know.
Maybe something if they beat us both or something, we'll get a little drawing going and maybe I'll give up a piece of my cool memorabilia.
That's what I'm looking at right now.
We'll come up with something. But yeah, guys, Tourney Pick'em. Don't expect Michigan to be in it, but a lot of the experts do. And we'll see what's going on. What's that? What's that in our messages? You see that?
I don't know. It's somebody. I think it's fucking.
Somebody spamming us.
Yeah, it's probably someone spamming us.
I ain't clicking on it.
No, fuck no. I just blocked it. I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, I just blocked it. Yeah, it's definitely someone trying to spam our chat. Whatever. Fuck Facebook. This is the reason why I don't deal with this shit. But yeah, guys, we'll figure out something. And I mean, the tournament starts Thursday.
Yep.
Maybe
coming up this sometime between when the brackets announced and first game starts, we'll do a quick maybe 5-10 minute deal where we announce contest rules.
And talk about the tournament a little bit, and we'll do something like probably Wednesday. We'll do something Wednesday night. That sound good?
Yeah, maybe we'll do our first round picks too then.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's what we can do for the show. Honestly, unless there's like big news, because that's easy. That's an easy day. So yeah, tune in. As long as nothing happens, we'll see you all Wednesday. As long as no power's lost or no one's sick.
Right.
But all right, guys, y'all have a good day, and as always, go blue.
Hail.